What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I was debating covering this because I've obviously covered it before, but the things just keep piling up. Every day is a new story, and so here we are again to talk about Ezra Miller. So, again, I've talked about it so many times, I'm sure I'm going to repeat things, and I am sorry. I can't believe what's going on, and that's kind of why I want to make the video, right? Because when the first thing when Ezra is accused of doing stuff to this girl over years of her life, and now I think she is 18 or over 18. They're on the run. Ezra needs to go to the court date on July 12th, otherwise the family and the girl, whether she wants it or not, gets the restraining order against Ezra. So you have that going on. Then the next day there's something with a 12-year-old, and it's like I needed to make this video just to kind of get my thoughts out there where I don't know what's going on, okay? I don't think Ezra knows what's going on, but I definitely don't know what's going on. I can't believe, I truly can't believe Warner Bros. Hasn't fired Ezra, and I've said this before. Let me try to step on every single base so we're all kind of clear on where I stand and all of that stuff. I do agree that Ezra Miller needs help. 1,000%, okay? At this point, though, there are serious bad things the human being has done, okay? And Ezra needs punishments. I've stood so firm on that I get getting help. I get also the prison system, and we can go into that kind of politics, right? I understand. But at the same time, what Ezra has done is literally unacceptable. You can't just do these things and say, slap on the wrist. Bad, Ezra, bad. You can't just do that. There needs to be severe, actual severe, meaning whatever the law dictates for what Ezra has done. Not something absolutely insane, right? It needs punishment. That's what it needs. And then Ezra, or at the same time, parallel lines, they can get, Ezra can get help. All right, that's what I've said that since the beginning, since the Hawaii incidents, since the choke slamming the pregnant woman incident, all of that stuff. I've always said, sure, get Ezra help. Now the rumor, right, is that Ezra was totally out of it on set, a good person, nice and all that stuff, but just totally out of it. So that's fine, I guess, but Warner Bros. Needs to step in and freaking do something. Now let's turn the table over to Warner Bros. What are you guys doing? I think this video may go up before I talk about Amber Heard and Aquaman 2. I've made that video as well, and that's another reason, right? Because it's I don't know if I want to make these videos because I'm making 2 videos on Warner Bros. On how just pathetic this movie, and I don't know if it's Warner Bros. As a company because their gaming division is fine. I like their gaming division, all right? I hope to work with their gaming division for certain games coming out. But whoever's making the decisions for Amber Heard, Ezra Miller, they need to go now, yesterday, a week ago. They need to get out. They do. And again, that's why it's do I talk about Amber and Ezra in separate videos? Because is that overkill? Ultimately, though, again, and when I laugh when I see these headlines, same thing as the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. I'm not laughing at Ezra's mental condition. I'm not laughing at the acts that Ezra is doing. None of it's actually funny. I'm laughing at just the hilarity of how can this actually be happening? And how can nothing be happening to Ezra? How can there be no statement? How can Warner Bros. Stand by this individual? How is it actually possible? That's a flabbergasted thing that I have. And so if you ever hear me laugh, or if I come across funny in my tweets when I do it, I'm not making, in a way, comedy is a way of making light of situations. That's totally true, and I use it as well. But I'm not discounting what Ezra's doing, be it's fine, everybody do what Ezra's doing. No, I'm laughing at the hypocrisy, and it keeps coming back. I've said this with the Amber stuff. How in God's name do you fire at the time when you don't really know the situation of, right, with Johnny Depp, right? But you fire him, and how do you keep what ends up to be the actual abuser? So if you just boil it down, you have somebody in Ezra Miller who's doing some absolutely horrible things, is having legal actions taken against, right? There's things happening against Ezra at this point almost daily. So you have that. You have Amber who, if you waited to see the actual evidence, not a corrupt UK judge and all that stuff, if you waited to see the truth, you'll have realized, oh, she was the actual abuser. So you've stood by Ezra Miller and Amber Heard. That's what you can hang your hat, Warner Bros.' hat on every night. We defended them. Oh, and we fired the domestic victim, the domestic violence victim. He's gone. Thank God we got rid of him, because he's the real troublemaker here. The other two, oh, they're as clean as can be. And by the way, they're going to destroy your franchises, all right? That's the thing, too. And I've said this as well, again, to really cover all bases. I get that it's difficult. I get, with Amber, you have her, she's only in a little bit of the movie, right? And there's paths you can do. No one has ever really liked her as Mera. You could replace her. You could eliminate her completely from Aquaman 2, right? And then you could recast her for 3, or you could just eliminate the character altogether. And people would be disappointed because Mera is a cool character that I think people wanted to see. But it won't matter too much compared to The Flash. So you have a movie with Ezra as the main lead. The movie is literally called The Flash. Ezra is playing, 3 different characters in that movie. It's so much more difficult. So I understand that it's difficult. And I'm talking to Warner Bros. I'm talking to whoever needs to be talked to right now. I get that it's tough. I get that what you're basically left to do is you need to cancel the film. So you're going to lose $200-300 million. And just the whatever kind of excitement, the Michael Keaton aspect of it, you'd lose all of that. So you kind of lose the fandom and the lore and the that kind of culture. You'd lose that immediately, and financially you would lose so much money. And I get that's difficult. On the other side of things, maybe not even other side, but another option, of course, right, is to recast. Now, if you recast Ezra, you have to film the movie, and this is, based off reports. The reports of why they haven't fired Ezra is because they feel like they're stuck because Ezra is so important to the movie that if you recast, you have to film the whole movie again. Again, I get that's difficult. Is that another $200-300 million? I don't think necessarily. I feel like you can maybe half it. It depends on how much money they want to lose. I guess the final option, right, is, of course, releasing the movie. And I've said this before, this is not a guilt trip. I never want to come across that way. Your money is your money. My money is my money. You don't tell me how to spend mine. I won't tell you how to spend yours, right? I mean, we can say, hey, I like this. You should maybe you'd be interested in this, or, maybe you shouldn't buy something like this. But demanding, you must go see this, or you must, in a malicious way, right? Obviously, there's YouTube headlines of you need to see this movie. You could say that's kind of forcing it on you, but I'm saying you're an evil person who's gonna rot in the side of the road if you go see The Flash. That's not how I have ever wanted to come off, and I don't think I ever have. And it's not how I am now. If you're gonna see The Flash, fine. You spend your money how you want to spend the money. I cannot imagine myself ever supporting this movie. I will not support Ezra Miller. I'm not. That's unacceptable to me, and it's just not going to happen. And that's it. That's literally it. So. And I think, and you could say, well, Alex, not everybody sees this stuff. Well, guess what? If this stuff keeps happening, they sure will. This is not as big scale and as mainstream as an Amber Heard stuff, right? In fact, when Ezra's been on the run over the last little while, and Ezra needs to go to court on July 12th, that stuff is not even being reported on by you don't see any Today talking about that, or NBC or stuff, right? It's clear that Warner Bros. Is trying their best to kind of suppress that. I mean, how many families are going to come out and say, yeah, Ezra influenced my teenage daughter? How many of those people and families, how many of those families are about to come out? We've had 2 already. 2 in the last 2 weeks. So is it weekly? Is it monthly? Is it daily? How many of these families are going to come out to say Ezra's done something either borderline illegal or definitely illegal? How many? And the more that happens, the more Ezra truly becomes a worse and worse individual to literally anybody that sees this stuff. I love that, when the Hawaii incidents came out, right, the fan pages were saying, well, we've had insider information that Ezra's story is going to clear. This is going to make Ezra seem a lot better. You're going to believe Ezra's story a lot more. And then the story came out. It's no, not really. Ezra still looks really bad. I don't really know what you. It's because they're fan sites, right? The Flash kind of fan sites. So, and again, I get loving the property, loving the character of the Flash. That's fine. But in this case, we need to I guess separate art from the artist in a way, but also say like, no, like you can't do the stuff that Ezra Miller is doing. There needs to be some sort of punishment. There needs to be a stop to this, because again, as it keeps going with all these families and all these children at some point, or teenagers, how many of them need to come out before there's like an arrest made, or before something truly bad happens? Is this like just the beginning of like Ezra's supervillain, origin story? I made a joke about that a few days on Twitter. This is like a supervillain origin story. Like, you kind of see the buildup of madness going on over the last like 3 years. Like, that's what's happened. So it's like, how much longer until there's a now that these things aren't serious, but like something that's gonna put Ezra on the radar of like, you have to cover this on every major broadcast. This is the talk of the town. When does that happen? Tomorrow? It could. At this rate, it could happen tomorrow, right? And does Warner Bros. Want to be associated with that? At this point, they are. At this point, just like Amber, and again, you'll see that in my Amber Heard video, no matter what they do, they're still screwed, because it's like, you hung around Ezra so long. At this point, to me, it doesn't even matter if you say anything, or if you fire Ezra, or if you recast, because it's like, you stuck by this person way too long. Way too long. And again, I say that for like Amber Heard. It's been almost 3 weeks. What are you doing? She's the domestic violence perpetrator. Johnny Depp was the victim. And you're standing. So even if you fire her tomorrow, well, what does that say? It took you 3 weeks to come up with a decision we all could have made in a second. I get it. Businesses and Hollywood, and I get that, and maybe it takes more time. But this is pathetic. It's pathetic. And it's the same thing with Ezra. Even if it happens tomorrow, you let Ezra... all of this stuff, you can go through now the police records of just all these different incidents. You let them pile up. And again, getting help, that's always the thing. And I get it. I think it's a thing that like the super sympathizers go to a little too often. But I think genuine people, just genuine people online that, I've seen have said, look, Ezra needs help. And it's like, yes, I do agree. And I think, by the way, most of the people that say that do also welcome the reaction of saying needs help but needs punishment. You can do both. You can, because you still did some bad stuff. Is that fair? You did some bad stuff. All right. There's a path to forgiveness. This doesn't have to be like a cancel culture situation. Fix your goddamn life. Accept help, receive help, whatever, whichever you're not doing. Get that. Fix your life, but suffer the consequences of what you've done. And then once those consequences are over, rebuild your life, and we'll accept you. Why is that so hard? I don't know. It's the world we're in, though, right? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on. Most of these times, by the way, when I make these videos, I immediately lose several subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you want to supplement that and kind of make up for it, be my guest. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.